you have an early signing date, you have a transfer portal with instant eligibility, and you have name, image, likeness money being thrown around. And it's impossible. And if you're ethical about it, you don't oversign, you put yourself at such a huge disadvantage, because when a kid jumps into the portal and he surprises you, and again, at Wake, you look in that portal, and between admission and taking credits, there's not a lot of guys in that portal that we can take. So it's not like, well, geez, you lose somebody in the portal, find somebody else. Probably 95% of the schools can do that. We can't. And so, I've never oversigned. I've never had to make that phone call to a young man that, geez, I'm sorry, even though you've been committed to us for a year or 8 months, tough luck. We've never done that. But given the way that things are going, it makes it tougher to hit your number than ever. And we're going to continue not to do that. We're not going to oversign, and, I'll sleep at night knowing that I don't have to tell a young man who's committed to us that we're going to break our commitment. But it's very challenging, and quite honestly, it's not fun. There's nothing that's enjoyable about this at all, other than I still really enjoy the recruiting of the young men we're bringing in here. I think we're going to have a great class and guys that fit Wake Forest. And trust me, we've kept way more guys than we've lost. And it's not like a lot of these guys on our team didn't have multiple options. And how they have multiple options without being in the portal, you answer that one for me.
I don't know if I can answer that one, but it is one of the simplest solutions here to eliminate the early signing period and go back to the first week of February?
I was never for it. If a player wants to enroll early, just let them enroll early. But, what your roster is after the December portal, I think it would make it easier for recruits. Okay, what players did you get in the portal? Where's my best opportunity? And now you have guys decommitting now because the schools they were committed to signed a guy in the portal at their position. And you have players getting dumped left and right because schools found a better, older player in the portal than them. And it's not good. It's not I don't think, a net positive for college football. But again, the TV ratings are good, and I'm sure the college football playoff expansion will generate a lot of revenue, and the priorities of the sport are changing, and that's just the way it is. I'm not bemoaning it. That's the way college football is now. So it's changed. We need to learn to change with it, but we're not going to do that in a way that's not ethical. As I tell our coaches, we're still the adults, and, a 17-year-old may do something, 19-year-old may do something. As grown men, that doesn't give us the right to do things. And if we're at a slight disadvantage because of that, then I'll accept that. That's on me.
Dave, on the topic of roster management, this is about the time that you guys get the draft evals back. Obviously, there's a few guys that have been kind of waiting on that. Can you just walk us through the process of just what that process is for them and what they're just kind of trying to go through right now?
I mean, we've shared that. It's a little bit different this year, Cam, because, the NFL will typically only give you those evaluations of the underclassmen, and they're not considering the guys that got the extra year for COVID underclassmen. So a lot of those guys that are fourth or fifth year guys, they're not treating those guys like underclassmen. So typically they give those evaluations to the third. So, we don't have a lot of third year guys that are making that decision. And a lot of our fourth year guys know they're coming back or know they're leaving. So there's probably, if there's anything that's, maybe I've had fewer of those meetings this year than I had the year that Boogie was trying to figure out what he was going to do. There hasn't been as many as those meetings.
Dave,
Hey,
back to the practice situation for just a second. Is part of that a residual effect of so much stuff being crammed into December with all of that? Or is it also related to the earlier date of the bowl this year that you're not going to use all 15?
Yeah, well, first of all, 15 practices is what you get in the spring. There's no rule of 15 for bowl games. It's
Okay.
You get in what you can, and very rarely do you even get close to 15. But we've been 12 or 13 before. But yes, part of it is with when the bowl is, it cut into our recruiting time. So you only get 2 weeks that you can go visit these guys before the early signing date. And so every day that we started early for bowl prep was one more day of having 10 assistant coaches and myself on the road. So, in 8 days, I knocked out about 14 home visits. And if I had started bowl practice one more day, I only would have got 12 home visits in. And so when you have these early bowl games, they're good on the back end, but on the front end, you got to make a decision of, okay, we still need to see these recruits. Let's not over practice or come back a day or two early just to get younger guys reps, because you can't afford to not be in the homes and recruiting the kids that you're trying to sign. So that's part of, okay, when do we start? And, we started 8 days before, so we sacrificed 3 days on the road for the bowl prep. I'll take another one if you guys got one more.
Yeah, I do. Mike Solarte, Spectrum News 1. Good to see you again, Coach. You talked about the fact that you guys are going after the 11th bowl victory in program history, and how you guys have walked the balance of work and fun. Has it become easier to walk that balance because you have, you've done this several years now in a row, and guys know the drill?
Yeah, it helps. But, there's still 35 freshmen on our team that have never been to a bowl game. So you're educating those guys on, what happens if they're drinking and what happens if they're late for curfew, and you explain to them what a bus station is and what a Trailways bus ticket costs. So you're always, there's always a quarter significant roles in the bowl. Have been here before and with us before, but Kobe Turner, who transferred from Richmond, has never been to a bowl game before. In America.
And if the injury report were out today, where are we listing you after the roller coasters? Are you questionable, doubtful, limited? Do you have enough time to recover?
I think I'm going to have enough time to recover, but we have a reception tonight with the Missouri staff and our staff. So I'm gonna start out with some club soda and Tums to make sure the stomach's settled before I have any of the Swedish meatballs.
All right, you guys all good? Great, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate your